Good to have you with us on this Thursday edition. Ed Schultz, news and commentary. Very interesting interview on CNN with the nominee, Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton says that she will definitely be the nominee. Nothing's going to stop her. Bernie Sanders has to get over it. And oh, by the way, she expects Bernie Sanders to help her get the White House, because that's what Bernie Sanders said he was going to do, because we don't want Donald Trump as the president. Now, some may view that as total arrogance. I view it as reality. It doesn't surprise me at all that Clinton has gotten to this point. But it's the most aggressive language that she has used when it comes to describing Donald Trump. It's the most aggressive position she has taken throughout this entire process, and maybe she thinks it's just time to turn the corner. But it is interesting. On the heels of criticizing Bernie Sanders supporters in the Nevada convention and condemning them and using the word violence, the next day the Clinton people are out saying, well, Bernie, you better help us get elected because we don't want Donald Trump. I mean, the arrogance just pours off the Clinton campaign. Let me tell you this story, folks, and I'm going to protect my sources here, but this did happen. The Clinton campaign has been trying to hire away several people from the Sanders campaign on the inside who were very integral to the success of Bernie Sanders. They have been unsuccessful in doing just that. They've even had corporations, big companies, go after these people, trying to hire them away from the Sanders campaign. That's how they play the game. That's how they play pool. Then there was a phone call from John Podesta to one of these people that they failed to hire. And Podesta said to this person, you know that wife your job is up for in that Senate office? Well, she's not going to get it. This is how the Clintons play pool. And the day after scolding Bernie Sanders, the day after the Clinton people saying that he needs to get out of the race, the day after the campaign saying that Bernie has to apologize, and then this chorus of senators who are working over Bernie Sanders, they tell him now, from the candidate herself, Hillary Clinton, that he's got to go get over it, that she is going to be the nominee.
I am absolutely committed to doing my part, more than my part. But Senator Sanders has to do his part. That's why the lesson of 2008, which was a hard-fought primary, as you remember, is so pertinent here. Because I did my part, but so did Senator Obama.
So wait a minute now. Is Hillary telling us that there's no way Barack Obama would have been elected president had she had not gone out on the trail to go against John McCain? Okay, no ego there. And Bernie Sanders has to do his part? Now, is that words of a dictator? Or is she going to be asking Bernie Sanders to do his part? Is she going to try to bring him into the fold? No, she's dictating to Bernie. No, I'm expecting him to do his part. I mean, Hillary, do you want the Sanders people to support you? Do you want them to believe that you are not going to browbeat them and that you're not going to be heavy-handed? Now, we all know the Clintons have a list. And once you're on that list, you ain't getting off it. I mean, as far as the family is concerned, you're either in or you're out. And you ain't ever getting in if you're out. And that's what bothers a lot of people. And this interview just underscores the attitude that they carry. It is an attitude of arrogance. And it's unfortunate. No one's going to argue on the Democratic side whether Donald Trump is not qualified to be president of the United States. Democrats aren't going to even think that, well, maybe he should be the president. It's the independents that the Democrats are going to have to win over. It's the swing voters that they're going to have to win over. And if this is her tactic of trying to get it going, off to a bad start again. Here's more of Hillary Clinton's interview.
Senator Obama, he made it clear he welcomed people who had supported me. He made it very clear. We went to Unity, New Hampshire together, appeared together, spoke together.
Well, Bernie Sanders has not said that he's not going to do that with you, Hillary. Bernie Sanders has not. I mean, she's laying out the roadmap of what Bernie Sanders has to do to meet some criteria. I thought you were saying he wasn't a Democrat. Not too long ago, you were saying that he wasn't, supporting of the automobile loan program. You even tried to say that he was against all trade. I mean, it's not so fast on all these sins forgiven. California still has to vote. There's a lot of folks out there that are hoping for a political miracle. Now, there's more here in this interview that I think is very important. Listen to this.
Let me ask you, do you think that Donald Trump is qualified to be president?
No, I do not. And I think in this past week, whether it's attacking Great Britain, praising the leader of North Korea, a despotic dictator who has nuclear weapons, whether it is saying pull out of NATO, let other countries have nuclear weapons, the kinds of positions he is stating and the consequences of those positions and even the consequences of his statements are not just offensive to people, they are potentially dangerous. When you run for president of the United States, the entire world is listening and watching. So when you say we're going to bar all Muslims, you are sending a message to the Muslim world. And you're also sending a message to the terrorists, because we now do have evidence. We have seen how Donald Trump is being used to essentially be a recruiter for more people to join the cause of terrorism.
Okay, be that as it may, Trump, isn't qualified. What else is new? What Trump is going to do is take it to the firewall against the Clintons. Everything is on the table. That ought to be the new theme of his campaign. Make America great again. No, it's everything is on the table. Now, as we were producing this yesterday, we heard Richard Viguerie say, absolutely. And he went on to say that everything in their background is going to be fair game. The question is whether it's going to work or not. This is Donald Trump in an interview with Sean Hannity. He goes deep into the personal life of Bill Clinton.
What about what Clinton's done? How big an issue should that be in the campaign? For example, I looked at the New York Times. Are they going to interview Juanita Broderick? Are they going to interview Paula Jones? Are they going to interview Kathleen Willey? In one case, it's about exposure. In another case, it's about groping and fondling and touching against a woman's will.
And rape.
And rape.
And big settlements, massive settlements.
$850,000 for Paula Jones.
Lots of other things. And impeachment for lying.
Smearing, besmirchment of women.
And losing your law license. He lost his law license, okay? Couldn't practice law. And you don't read about this on Clinton.
Wow. And that's what the conservatives want to do. They want to throw that out there. Be that as it may, it comes down to who can do the job. And I do think that Hillary Clinton can do the job a hell of a lot better than Donald Trump. But I don't like the way Clinton is browbeating the Sanders campaign. We still got a long way to go, and you just never know what the FBI is going to come up with. I don't know. When we come back, Ruth Conniff, Progressive Magazine, joins us on Ed Schultz News and Commentary. Communication Workers of America, Alliance for American Manufacturing, BioGreen Clean, and the iSave team bring us this production. We're right back. Hey, folks, you've heard me talk about BioGreen Clean. I'm going to show you right now on my airplane just how tough this is. I want you to keep in mind, chemical-free, 100% plant-derived, biodegradable. It is the safest cleaner that you can get, and it's the most effective. Go to our website, wegoted.com, or go to biogreenclean.com. www.biogreenclean and order today. It's time to continue our conversation about mechanical insulation. Mechanical insulation is for the piping systems in our nation's commercial and industrial facilities. Facility owners are burning up billions of dollars through the lack of mechanical insulation on these piping systems. Call the iSave team. Insulation saves America valuable energy, and this team of energy conservation specialists is shovel-ready to save you money. Visit iSaveTeam.org to have a specialist give your plant an energy audit.
We perpetuate a culture of crime all the way from Wall Street right down to the main street in our hometowns. It's worse than it has been since FDR took control of the problem and said we can't count on industry taking care of the American labor. They probably have already engaged into some type of criminal cover-up, and the law prohibits the government from even doing anything about it.
Catch America's lawyer Mike Papantonio on YouTube at youtube.com/GoLeftTV. Good to have you back with us. Ed Schultz News and Commentary. We're joined now by Ruth Conniff, editor, Progressive Magazine. Ruth, great to have you with us.
Great to be here.
Do you think that the everything on the table strategy that Donald Trump is using right now against the Clintons, going back and talking about lawsuits and sexual harassment and all the escapades of Bill Clinton, I mean, they're out there and they're being relived in this campaign. How do you think people in general, and women for that matter, are going to respond to all of this? Is this going to work? Will it be effective? And of course, the Clinton campaign, Hillary Clinton herself in an interview today said that she is not going to respond to this mudslinging. She's going to talk about issues. Is this all going to work? Your take?
Well, I think Trump is doing what he's been doing all along, and it has worked for him, and that is, turning the presidential race into a reality TV show. And he gets a lot of traction. It gets him news coverage, for one thing, because these are, kind of it bleeds, it leads, and sex stories. So I think he knows what he's doing. I think that it was predictable that it would be a really ugly general election campaign, and we're almost there, although to Hillary's dismay, we're actually not quite there yet. But basically, I think Trump and Hillary are going to produce a whole lot of negative ads, and it's the larger picture, I think, is going to be not so much that there's this gigantic backlash against the ugliness just by Trump, and that drives people to the polls, which is what the Democrats are hoping for. I think it might be that it just suppresses the vote, because that historically is what happens in a really ugly campaign, and that's the real danger here.
Where do you think the Sanders campaign is right now, with several senators saying he ought to get out, with a mainstream media narrative that's out there? Why is Bernie doing this at this point? Hillary Clinton today saying that she is going to be the nominee of her party, and Bernie Sanders, quote, has to get over it. What do you make of that?
I just think that is unfortunate. I think that the Clinton campaign is making a mistake in tone, and a lot of supporters of Hillary Clinton who have been, it sounds imperious and it sounds dismissive, and that's not going to help them recruit Sanders voters in the general election. So I really think that they should be more careful about that. Every morning now, I get the New York Times and I read another story. I think today it was Bernie Sanders, refuses to get out of the race.
Well, then also the Washington Post editorializing that he's misleading his supporters.
I just don't get it. He's running for president. He's doing really well. He's on track to win California. And then they say he's going to win California. He's got to get out of the race. It doesn't make sense. He's got something to say. People are attracted to his message. Let him say it. In the general election, if you feel, that you're going to want to recruit the people who support him and are passionate about him, beating them up now is not going to help.
Yeah. And this process has to play out. We got really a flavor of how passionate the Sanders supporters are in the Nevada convention last weekend when they felt they were disenfranchised. And my point on this, Ruth, is how do that many people get pissed off at the same time?
Right.
Something was going on. What, did they take a cue from Bernie on that, or what? Come on.
Bernie's being blamed for that, and he's being blamed for not doing more to denounce it. But I really think you have to start with the substance of the complaint. They really did feel disenfranchised, and the process was shut down summarily. And there is a process within the Democratic Party, which includes the superdelegates, which is designed to favor the establishment candidate. And you got that process, and then in addition to that, you got a bunch of smarty-pants pundits in Washington, D.C. and New York who think that they've already played this game out in their head, and therefore the people should stop voting for the wrong candidate. And, it really adds up to the kind of thing that people object to, and it doesn't feel like democracy, and it causes a lot of bad feelings. So I think it's really incumbent on the Hillary people to be more gracious and to indicate that they are willing to listen to this enormous number of energized voters, and grassroots voters, and new people, young people who want to see a more progressive Democratic Party and are excited by what Sanders has to say and need to be persuaded to support Hillary, frankly.
Always great to visit with you, Ruth Conniff. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Likewise, Ed. Thank you.
You bet. Progressive Magazine editor Ruth Conniff with us here on Ed Schultz News and Commentary. Communication Workers of America, Alliance for American Manufacturing, BioGreen Clean, and the iSave team bring you this production. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the Brexit vote with Leo Gerard, President of International Steelworkers, what it means. David Cameron, Prime Minister of Britain, has said that it's important for his country to stay in the European Union. That vote is coming up on June 23rd. How will that affect American markets? That's tonight on the News with Ed, 8 o'clock, RT.com and Dish and Direct. We'll see you then. We're back tomorrow.